Hi everyone, it's Hatsy and I'm back with another build in The Sims 4. Today we are building a cottage, but it's run down and I will explain. So, I wanted to do a house that wasn't necessarily my pretty kind of style or like luxury style, because I do a lot of luxury houses, I do a lot of mansions, and what I haven't done is a run down house, maybe a house that maybe needs some TLC, something like that. So I thought this would be a really cute idea. And I actually came up with a story behind the people that live in this home. It was supposed to be a house that I did for the release of Parenthood, but I just never shared it because honestly I didn't feel like it was good enough. But now I'm thinking, no, I love this. Let's just embrace this for a second. This is different. I've never done this before, I don't think. I've never shared a house like this. And it may not be the most amazing house I've ever made, but I think in terms of backstories and stuff, I think it's pretty interesting. So the idea is that a grandma lives in this house, and you can see her at the front there. She's so cute. I love her. And she has the haircut from the bowling stuff. It just suits her. It looks really good. So she lives in the house, and the idea is that she had a daughter that went off the rails a bit. And the daughter got into drinking and drugs and all the bad stuff that you absolutely should not get involved with. To be fair, drinking's not that bad in moderation and if you're the right age, so just putting that into the mix for a second. So yeah, the daughter then ran off, like started getting pregnant and things with random men. So she ended up having 3 different children from 3 different fathers, so they're all half brothers, and they are now living with the grandmother because the grandmother can look after them in the best way. Now unfortunately this story is pretty similar to a story that I know was real, and there's someone that I personally know that has a very similar backstory to this, and it's really sad but really inspiring as well. The fact that they've had a really bad circumstance and they've been able to do a lot with their life, and I think that's really cool. So yeah, you know, sometimes realistic storylines and storylines that are a little bit different and quirky, not just your typical happy family, can be a little bit interesting. And to be fair, this is a happy family. The grandma is absolutely lovely to the kids and they get on. And she's been like a mum to them, the mum that they didn't have because the mum was always absent. So the idea is that I'm going to be using these 2 teenage boys, probably in the machinimas for upcoming stuff. So you'll see them a lot. They're actually some of my favourite Sims, and I'm considering doing a create a Sim of them because I've got the footage for it. And I may share that. So if that's something you're interested in, then head over to the Create a Sim video. If I put it up, it may come after this though. But yeah, just to see support on the Create a Sim videos means a lot. I love doing Create a Sim videos, but sometimes they're not my finest videos because I'm not that brilliant at them, but I'm actually really proud of how the Sims turned out. And I think they're great. I think they're really good. Apart from one of them looks like a really early boyfriend that I used to have. But I think that's quite good in a way because we only dated for a week. I don't have any attachment or whatever over the situation. I don't have any attachment to any of my exes, just as far as that's concerned, because I'm married and I'm in love, whatever. The guy that I dated was off the rails though. And we dated for a week and I was probably about 15, and it actually ended because he threw a lamp at me. Yeah, I know I laugh about it because it's just the most random thing ever. Like, how did you break up? Oh, he threw a lamp at me. It's just like, wow, that's weird. So as far as that's concerned, I don't condone it. I think that it was awful. And the reason why I broke up with him was because of that. Terrible. He was very fiery though. And the guy that is going to be living here with his grandma is also super fiery. So yeah, I don't know. In that way, they share some similarities. I wouldn't say that he inspired that character. I'd say that it just so happened that it was just kind of a coincidence. There we go. So yeah, anyway, adding some landscaping. I didn't want to go over the top with it though, because it's supposed to be run down. It's not supposed to be like the prettiest build ever. So I tried to stay away from that a lot. And going on to the inside, I think I was really struggling decorating it because I'm not used to decorating small spaces at all. So it was difficult. So yeah, the idea that I have for a machinima is that the brothers, or the half brothers, I like to call them brothers, so they would be very rebellious, very off the rails. I think the machinima would focus around drinking and potentially drugs, so definitely not appropriate for young viewers, but it's supposed to be showing the consequences of how wrong it is and how the consequences of their actions affect them later on in their life. So yeah, we'll see how that one turns out. I was trying to place some graffiti and also general cracks around the build. It would be really interesting to see how this build looks decorated, I think, nicely and sort of redone a little bit. I don't think it's too overly ruined. It just looks like it's still lived in, but it just needs a bit of work. It was hard though. It was hard to kind of get that look for this house because I'm not used to doing this, honestly. I was trying to think of houses that I've been in that have kind of been slightly run down and what they've had in them. I can't even remember where I got my inspiration from for the inside, honestly. I wanted to go with the idea that nothing really matched, but then I don't know how well that would have looked, and also I would probably be facing backlash of, wow, are you blind? Like, none of this stuff matches. Yeah, sometimes I try and do something that I'll think's really creative, and then people be like, no, that was not creative. That was not a good idea. But that's fine, because, you know, it's an opinion. And I appreciate that as well. I genuinely appreciate constructive criticism. And I really love when people tell me, actually, I'd like it if you did this for next time, because I prefer that over when you did this thing. That's really interesting. I've actually stopped playtesting my builds. I used to a lot, and it's only a recent thing that I've stopped it. And it's because I've got so used to knowing exactly how large an item is and how a sim can walk around it that I don't need to do it anymore. Yeah, that's really sad. Maybe I need to cut down on my sim time, hey? I'm really excited for the toddler stuff pack that's going to be coming out soon. I think it's going to be a really good addition. The only thing I was disappointed about was the ball pit. I honestly don't know when I'll be sharing this video. So yeah, you may be watching this way after the pack comes out. Oh my goodness. That'll be crazy. And I'll probably make a house, maybe even in between this build. I have no idea. So yeah, there we go. The kitchen was weird. It has like a lot of clutter in, has like plates and things like that. One of the things that I love from City Living is that wallpaper that has the dampness around it. Oh, speaking of damp though, I have a really horrible story from the other day. So, okay, I started to hear dripping in my kitchen, and we've had problems with the upstairs bath. I've been through this though. The bath or the shower was leaking, and it leaked down into my kitchen, and all my ceiling was wet, and we had to get people in to come and fix the problem. But they still haven't fixed the water damage because they're really bad with stuff like that. They don't like to help you. They like to knock on your door a lot, but they don't like to help you. So, yeah, what happened though was recently I noticed coming from the kitchen there was this dripping noise, and I was very worried. So I tried to figure out the exact origin of the noise, and I found that it was coming from this really weird thing on the ceiling that I've never seen in my life before. And I thought to myself, has that just appeared? It was like this white dome just randomly on my ceiling, but I've never seen it. Like, I've never paid attention to it before. It's on the ceiling in my kitchen though. So I record it, I send it to James, and when James gets back from work, he comes and checks it himself. So we're both standing underneath this really weird dome in the kitchen that neither of us knew even existed. Because we've never paid that much attention to what's on the kitchen ceiling, quite honestly. We think, okay, what we'll do is we'll call the plumbers. The plumbers come around, they couldn't figure out what it was, etc, etc. And over the next few days, the dripping gets worse and worse. It goes from like casual drips to it kind of sounds a bit like a waterfall. I'm so dramatic, I swear. So what we decided to do, we decided to get the step ladders out and try and explore this really weird dome. It's like kind of hand-sized. This is the best way to sort of explain it to you. And honestly, I am waiting for the heavens to open. I'm waiting for my whole kitchen to flood. The noise that was coming from this dome, I can't stress how bad it was. So we unscrew it and it turns out that it was actually a fan and there was just dust just trapped in the fan and it was making a really weird noise. It was just the most anticlimactic thing ever. Like, I swear, I was kind of thinking, okay, the whole ceiling's gonna collapse in a minute. I was obviously very glad it didn't, but yeah, it was really weird. So that was the problem. So, oh my goodness, how did that stem from me talking about city living damp wallpaper? Anyway, that is the end of the build. I really hope you enjoyed it and I hope to see all future ones. Thanks for watching and I'll speak to you all soon.